Katherine Learns Stuff. Today I'm going to walk you through how to patch your winter coat in case you've done this to it. So let's jump in. So I'm not going to explain how I got this big hole in my coat, but the problem is that I have this hole, and I watched a bunch of videos, and all the videos I found were for patching really small holes, and I've got a really big hole here that needs to be fixed. So I wanted to quickly go over how I'm going to do this so that you can learn from this as well. I've got a bunch of these patch packs, and these are for ironing on the patches, and I find that these work better when it comes to large patches than the sticker ones that you can get for small holes, just because I find that the ironing on works better. So with these big ones, I'm going to use this black because this kind of is the closest color that I have, and all I'm going to do is just, I think I need to use the whole piece for this. All I'm going to do is find the size that I need, and I pretty much need this whole piece to cover up my whole area here, and I'm just going to iron this onto here. So I'm probably going to pin this into place before I glue it down so it sticks in this spot, and I'm going to make sure that all this fluff that's coming out of this stays in place. Now I've checked my coat beforehand to make sure that I can iron this material, so this should all work out nicely. So let's move over to my iron and we will finish this up over there. Okay, so my iron is hot now, and this patch that I have has like this melty sticky stuff on the backside, and so I want to make sure that I'm placing this in over my whole area. Now if I had a smaller hole, I would want the patch to sort of stay within the sewed lines that I have here, but since this kind of got all over the place here, I'm just going to put this over top. I'm going to want to make sure that I go right over the edge here so that I get the bottom part and all of these edges as well. So this is going to be a little bit tricky because I want to make sure that this is all in place and everything is hidden inside here. So I'm going to give this a nice press with my iron, and I'm going to make sure that I've got all of my bits covered up here. Now if my hole was smaller, I could cut this to size, or I could use a type of patch that is just a stick-on, but with this one being so big, I find that the iron-on works better. So all I'm going to do is just iron this into place and give this some good pressure so that it falls into the cracks of my jacket here. And you kind of want to hold this in each spot for about 30 seconds or so, so that it covers up and gives it a good stick. Now I like to work with vinyl often, and I find that when you're working with these types of projects, being able to apply extra pressure onto it helps this stay on tight. And now I've got my patch attached. My hole is all covered up, and I've pushed hard enough that the lines from the jacket sort of hide in there, and I've got access to all my pockets and stuff. I've left a link in the description below on the part that I've used, but I've also left links to some patches that you can just use as stick-ons for smaller holes, but this one I find works best for large holes. The one thing is now you need to wait 24 hours before you wash this, just to make sure that the glue on the back side of this patch sticks, and this should be good to keep my jacket functional for the next few years. And there you have it. We've successfully patched our winter jacket. Hopefully this has helped you out a little bit. I left a link in the description below the video of the products that I've used, but I've also left links for some patches that you can use that are the stick-on type that work really well for smaller holes. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy crafting!